Hi there everybody, this is David and welcome to New RPG News. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about today, from Final Fantasy to the Bandai Namco Showcase to an Arcus Games Showcase that happened as well. Tons of new games being announced, and I do want to go over all of that with y'all today. And I definitely do think that's worth joining my party and leveling up with me as you sub and like the video. Thank you so much for that. It really does help me out quite a bit. And I also want to wish all y'all a very happy 4th of July. I hope that you all had a really good time yesterday. I'm actually recording this on 4th of July on Friday, and then it goes live on Saturday. And I have 3 parties to go to later on this afternoon. I'm going to start going to those parties immediately after I get all this done and uploaded and timestamped and thumbnailed and everything else. Also, just a little housekeeping. I do want to let y'all know that there will not be an RPG news next week. And the reason for that is I'm going to be out of town. I mentioned this in a video the other day. I'm going to be flying back home to Georgia on Sunday and spending some time with my brother and his family as we drive up together to New York, and then spending time with all my extended family up there. And then I'm going to be coming back home, I want to say on Monday. So yeah, no new RPG news. I'm going to take a break from everything, kind of unplug and all that kind of good stuff. But on Monday, there could be a pretty big announcement. We shall see. I can't read the future or anything, but all signs are pointing to yes. Monday, if you know, is the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy IX, and Square Enix has been hyping this thing up like crazy. Like, they didn't hype up the Chrono Trigger's anniversary or Mana's anniversary or Saga's anniversary or anything else like this, but Final Fantasy IX, whoa, let's swing from the rafters and the rooftops. Like, they are hyping this thing up like no one's business. So something's telling me that in addition to all the various merch and calendars and partnerships and little kind of cameos and various video games and everything, that Final Fantasy IX remake is finally going to be officially announced, that we've known about for what, 4-something years now since the NVIDIA leak. So here's hoping that we hear some very, very, very good news on Monday. There was a Bandai Namco Summer Showcase just the other day. I made a video going over all of the various games that were announced for it. I was really hoping that they were going to shadow drop, or like at the very end put in something that says like, hey, by the way, here's that Tales remaster, but that didn't happen. So we didn't get a Tales remaster, but we did get extra information on, I don't even want to say extra information really. It was just kind of it was information that we kind of already knew, but just kind of packaged together into one showcase. And it focused on Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. It talked about the combat there and everything else. It's kind of like a roguelike dungeon crawler sort of thing with a hub town, and there's 8 different guardians that you can kind of take with you into the dungeons and all that kind of stuff. Looks really freaking good. Digimon Story Time Stranger, next game in the Digimon universe, 450 Digimon to capture and evolve, and it takes place between the Digimon world and the human world with turn-based combat, kind of like a Final Fantasy X turn gauge order sort of thing going on there. Looks fan-freaking-tastic. Code Vein 2, that's a Souls-like sequel to, obviously, Code Vein 1, which I did not like, but they are saying that Code Vein 2 is kind of the game that they wanted to make in the first place, so hopefully this one is much better than the first one. Also, their AAA action RPG, Blood of the Dawnwalker. This is kind of like a gothic Witcher 3 medieval sort of thing going on, where you are a human during the day with swords and sorcery, but then at nighttime you kind of turn into a vampire, and you get like extra powers and all that kind of stuff, and then you can like, fight against the vampires and save humanity and all that kind of stuff. It went over some other stuff that I really didn't care about, but then it also did go over Super Robot Wars Y, which is a strategy RPG. It's grid-based, turn-based strategy. It's kind of like a fan servicey sort of game. Has all the various characters from all these Super Robot Wars franchises all kind of coming together into their own unique story. So that looks pretty freaking cool. Too bad you had to suffer through quite a bit of other stuff that I did not care about in order to get to the good stuff. And again, no Tales. Normally, whenever a new console comes out, the old console gets, its prices lowered, because that just makes sense. They want people to, go ahead and buy out the old stock of that old console and then, kind of replace it with the new console. That's been historically what happens, but not so much with Nintendo and with Canada. The Switch price increase has been announced for Canada, not on Switch 2 systems, not on Switch 2 software, not on Switch 2 accessories. I'm talking about Switch 1 price increases for Canada. Does not make any sense to me. It says the affected products will include the OLED model, the Switch, Switch Lite, physical and digital Switch games, and Switch accessories. Other projects, including Amiibo and Nintendo Switch Online memberships, will also experience price changes. So all of these are going to go up instead of down. So, what? That doesn't make any sense as far as I'm concerned. Great business sense there, Nintendo. Great. You love to see it. You love to see some classic RPGs doing well in today's climate. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink shipments, digital and physical sales top 2 million units sold, and there's a 60% off sale currently underway. This game came out in 2024, and it was one of the best games of the year. I really, really, really liked it. It's out for the PS4, PS5, and PC, where you can go ahead and grab it. It says that it got 1 million shipments 11 days after its initial release, meaning that it has since sold an additional 1 million units. I thought this game was fantastic. Beautiful world, beautiful characters, good storyline. It's a tight, well-told storyline. When it first was announced, I was like, I don't know, it's kind of like based off this mobile thing or whatever, but they definitely turned this into a great console experience. I would love to see this continue on, because it's very similar, as far as I'm concerned, to something like Skies of Arcadia. All it really needed was world exploration with an airship, then it really would have had that Skies of Arcadia vibe. That was the only thing that it was really missing. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Great to see this news. Cladun X3 is coming to the West in 2025 for the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. It is a digital-only release, which is rather unfortunate because it is from Nice America, and they normally put out fan-fricking-tastic collector's editions and physicals and things like that. They are one of the last bastions for always physical or whatever, but it is coming out digital only. I do not know why. But anyway, here it goes. Villains from near and far have been summoned to Arcanus Cella to participate in a cutthroat death game in the name of achieving world peace. You are one of those villains. To survive this dangerous death game, you'll need to power up your strength and venture into the depths of the mysterious dungeons. Conquer floors teeming with ferocious monsters, avoid deadly traps, and make evil allies to aid in your journey. Do you have what it takes to become the ultimate evil? Cladun X3 is the latest entry in the Cladun series of pixel action RPGs where everything from characters to the weapons and even the music is fully customizable. These games have been going on since the PSP era. They have been wildly popular. I am saddened to see that they're going digital only. Kinda sucks, but hey, if you're a fan of this and you want to support it, go right ahead. The more support that you give to games like this, it might send a message to say, hey, this one's actually doing well. Maybe Cladun 4 should come out physically. I told y'all at the beginning of the show that there was a whole bunch of Axis games. We're getting into those now. The first one is called Good Old Days, and it's coming out this fall. It's a nostalgic Metroidvania type of game. I like Metroidvanias. I always have. I think that they're kind of fun. They remind me a lot of RPGs, but kind of in an action side-scrolling way, and I like side-scrollers too, so, it kind of reminds me of growing up with the Nintendo and the SNES and things like that. But anyway, it says, a nostalgic Metroidvania-style game from the good old days is back in 19XX. Taking the role of Sean, a young boy who ventures into the fictional city of Astoria to repay his father's debt. Explore the underground of Astoria, rescue your friends from imprisonment, and figure out how to pay your debt on time. The Good Old Days pays homage to the general nostalgia of teenage youth, the times that were, and what could have been. Throughout your adventure across play space, you may encounter Easter eggs and retro pop culture references scattered throughout the game world. Reminisce about the dreams of adventure from those days gone by throughout your playthrough with the gripping, multifaceted story. Looks pretty freaking cool to me. Cards RPG The Mystery Battlefield Physical Edition launches this fall in the West. It's currently available digitally, but it will be now available physically. Hey! PlayStation 5 and Switch. Okay, here we go. An expanded version of the game that combines roguelike-style deck building and strategy RPGs. Enjoy unique tactical gameplay that features over 100 varieties of cards with unique designs allowing players to build powerful decks and strategically confront enemies on a strategy RPG field. Every encounter requires a different strategy. Adapt to new battlefields and plan accordingly. Build the strongest deck and put a stop to the Hellmouth Brigade's actions. The new minigame mode allows players to select a single unit and navigate a grid-based map, engaging in battles, upgrading, and making critical decisions. Your route and deck building choices within limited turns will determine your success against the boss. So if you like games like this and you want to pick it up physically, it's more power to you. I don't know what I was trying to say right there. I kind of slipped over my own tongue. Tristia Chronicles has been announced for the Nintendo Switch. This is Tristia Legacy and Tristia Restore, all combined into one package. Don't worry, I have not heard of them either. Apparently, they were only released in Japan and Asia, and then worldwide on Steam back in 2023. It says, the beautiful city of Tristia, nicknamed the Jewel of the Sea, has bustled with maritime trade until recent dragon attacks stripped the city of its charm, and the people are resigned to the state of decay. Crafter-inventor Nanoka has been challenged to restore the city within a year. Will Tristia regain its former vibrancy, or it will remain in disrepair? Everything depends on your hard work. Tristia Restore takes place alongside Tristia Legacy, but it focuses on the day-to-day running of Nanoka's shop. She has some major crafting projects to complete, but while she works to finish them, a constant barrage of requests pour in. Use minigames to gather your materials, choose the right equipment, and deliver completed items to the townsfolk. Can you accomplish everything before the time runs out? Good to see these games coming out, getting more light on games like these. Not really my personal type of game, but it's also good to see them together in one package as well. Now we got some mobile games to go over before we get into visual novel hell. Yay! Okay, this is Resident Evil Survival Unit for the iOS and Android. There's an online showcase event set for July the 10th to talk a little bit more about this. This is a new strategy game. It says this is a fresh take on the beloved franchise, reimagining the survival horror universe as a real-time strategy experience optimized for mobile platforms. The game is designed to appeal to both longtime fans and to new players. The event will take place on July 10th at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and you'll be able to watch it in either English or Japanese over on YouTube. If you're a fan of strategy RPGs or Resident Evil, then you're going to want to check this out. Personally, I've never played a Resident Evil game in my entire life. I don't even watch horror movies, let alone like watch horror games. Like I've said this before. I like bright, colorful, cheery, happy sort of things, not like, oh my god, like scaring my wits out or anything. I remember it was late at night one night. It was, gosh, maybe like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in 7th grade and I was flipping through the TV, and on TBS, Carrie was on. And I was like, oh, I've heard of this movie before. I kind of want to watch it. I didn't know that it was a horror movie. I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's about this girl who's bullied, in high school or whatever. And I was like, I can relate to that. I'm bullied, And I was watching it. I was rooting for Carrie. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then the shit hit the fan at the end. And I'm like, oh my God. And I couldn't sleep that entire night. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of horror things in general. Destiny Rising launches on August the 28th. This is a free-to-play mobile game, like they all are, but it says that it's an RPG first-person shooter. To me, it sounds kind of like an oxymoron, but whatever you say, Let's see, it features a variety of playable hero characters, a shared world, and abundance of game modes, all set within the rich tapestry of the Destiny universe. Destiny Rising delivers a brand new adventure set in the alternate Destiny timeline, exploring a narrative in the post-Dark Age era. Featuring a diverse roster of characters, each with unique abilities and stories, Destiny Rising offers players dynamic and challenging single, cooperative, and competitive multiplayer gameplay, including beloved game modes familiar to Destiny players and all new modes that introduce new ways to play Destiny. As if it's any shock to y'all, never played Destiny in my life. First-person shooter, and that's all I needed to know. Are y'all ready? Are you ready to jump on the struggle bus with me? Because that's what's happening with this particular press release. This is for Zenless Zone Zero with a new update called The Impending Crash of Waves, which launches July 16th, and it reads like... It doesn't even read. I don't know, it doesn't even read. It's just I don't even know what this is. This summer-themed update introduces Season 2, Chapter 2, spotlighting the Spook Shack faction, introducing 2 new regions, Saloon Bay and Fantasy Resort. With abundant events awaiting, proxies can delve deeper into the coastal mysteries beneath the waves and embrace an extraordinary summer filled with friendship and adventure. Proxies can explore 2 exciting new additions, Saloon Bay and Fantasy Resort. Nestled beneath the cliffs of Falloum Heights, Saloon Bay will become a central stage for Chapter 2's story. Here, Porcellamux will launch a comprehensive safety investigation to resolve conflicts stemming from the chaos caused by the Exaltics. The high-profile investigation team includes Alice Timefield, descendant of the esteemed Timefield family, who will later join the Spook Shack. Meanwhile, the summer story unfolds at Fantasy Resort, featuring sandy beaches, coconut trees swaying in the breeze, and a vibrant holiday atmosphere perfect for summer activities and mysterious stories. So all I got out of that is that there's a resort on a beach somewhere, and there's spooky things happening, and then it goes on to more about this. And now we have visual novel hell. Illusion of Itihari launches on September the 18th in the West. This is an Otum visual novel. In Itihari, the renowned and prosperous floating utopia Hinagiku longs for the world beyond. One day, Hinagiku, having just turned 18 years old, encounters an amnesiac man. Their chance meeting drags her into a series of events involving the secrets and various truths hidden beneath the surface of Itihari. For this garden in the sky is a false utopia. Illusion of Itihari is a completely new otome game project created by a renowned group of artists and staff, and the first project from Licobits, a joint venture by Broccoli and Tis Creation, aimed at making games for the female audience. Okay, this is coming out September the 18th in the West. Path of Mystery, A Brush with Death, coming to the West in spring of next year. Decades ago, a famous landscape artist was brutally murdered while painting late at night. At that time, irregularities were found in the case and the primary suspect died in an apparent suicide. The case was closed and over time nearly forgotten. 30 years later, your university club, the Mystery Research Club, pries open old wounds, revisiting this unsolved case as a research assignment. Unexpected new clues are revealed as you use your secret abilities to peer into the past, viewing key items and events in a new light. Use your uniquely gained knowledge to steer conversations and interviews with witnesses and potential suspects. Maintain your own secrets while uncovering a series of long-buried mysteries leading to the true killer. This could be the first time I've ever read a press release for a visual novel and not had to struggle with a single frickin' word. Holla frickin' Luya. Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight launches November the 13th in the West, and if you buy it from the Axis Games online store, it includes an official soundtrack CD that you can see right there. Okay, here we go. In an era where light and shadow coexist, a kingdom thrives under the rule of a fairy queen. On the outskirts of the capital city, Rowan stands a noble residence where a new maid is about to arrive. Our heroine, at Prose, having lost everything 8 years ago, swore to take revenge on those responsible. Using a false identity, she searches for answers while working in the mansion belonging to a prestigious family. What secrets will she unearth upon her chance encounters with the distinguished noblemen who protect the kingdom? What path will she choose? And so begins the revenge tragedy of a girl bound by hapless fate. It always seems like these visual novels, like there's a ton of them where it's like an undercover maid or an undercover servant or butler or something like that. It always seems to be the case there with these games. And our last story of the day, we have a message from the president of Nintendo saying that they're currently working on various other film projects beyond the Mario and Zelda movies. Although we cannot discuss our plans beyond the Legend of Zelda movie at the time, we're currently working on various other projects, and they later went on to say in that same article that they will never again create a movie with a very hands-off approach, similar to that Super Mario movie that I saw when I was 10 years old in 1992. That was absolute nightmare fuel. Yeah, no more of that. We're actually going to be getting some good Nintendo movies, so that's really freaking cool. Again, I do want to apologize for no news next week, but I'm going to be with my family, and it is what it is. So yeah, look forward to all sorts of really cool stuff that I have scheduled out, though, from collaborations to a deep dive into console history to all sorts of fun, really cool stuff that I do have coming out next week, including like the worst RPGs ever out on the PlayStation 2, which is hysterical. So yeah, look forward to all those videos, and as always, have a good day, a great weekend, and hope you had a really, really, really happy 4th of July as well.